Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hard Refresh. Today, we have Lisa Macqueen joining us. Lisa, all the way hailing from Australia. She is joining us from the future, as we were just saying before we started recording. It is Thursday morning for Lisa, and it's Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening for Karina.
Yes.
So tell us what happens in the future, Lisa.
Oh, okay. I can let you know. Okay, I can let you know the lotto numbers, what the draw was last night. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Living here in the future. We love it.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
awesome.
hysterical.
Well, go ahead and introduce yourself. Just take a minute. Obviously from Australia, but what you do, what CleanCorp is, and your history, and how long you've been doing it.
Thanks. Well, thank you guys for having me on, first of all. I'm really, really excited to be chatting with you today. I am the CEO of CleanCorp, which is my family business. My husband started the business nearly 31 years ago now. And we
Wow.
started from, like everyone, like a humble little mum and dad kind of business, except I wasn't involved for the first 13 years. And then Hamish called me in and he said, listen, can you get involved? We need some more sales and marketing. And we need to, I really think this business has got what it takes to go big. And so I did, and I brought all my sales and marketing experience in. And we've just been, we started in Sydney, we went national, then we went into
Wow.
New Zealand as well. And it's a great business. I love what I do. I love the industry. And I'm really excited to talk about like all things Australian cleaning businesses and technology and everything with you today. It's gonna be fun.
I
I
love
love
that.
it. So I gotta go back a little bit. Lisa, I don't know if you remember the first time we ever met, but I think it was 2014, 2015, and it was at an Infusionsoft conference. Now they're called Keep. If you're anyone of our listeners familiar with the CRM world, but you had flown into what they used to call it, Icon.
Yeah.
I had a couple team members there. I think that was the first time we had met in like a hotel lobby. I was just like, hey, you're a commercial cleaning business. And Infusionsoft had done this whole brand video with you guys out there. It was really cool. And then I think it was just last year. It's the second time I saw you in person, and maybe some ISSA, but you were at the Cleaning Profits event.
That's right. That's right.
In Denver.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I've been to quite a few events in the US, but that one that you mentioned, the ICOM conference in 2014, that was huge for us because
yeah,
I don't know if you remember, but they used to run the Ultimate Marketer, and then they changed it to
that's right.
the Icon Award. Anyway, that year I think it was like their changeover of the name, but we won it that year. And
Right.
at the event, there were a number of cleaning businesses at the event that year, which Hamish and I were really surprised about. So we found that we had this very, very friendly crowd. And then, people all through the crowd who was like, go for the cleaning business, go for the Aussies.
Oh,
And
I
yeah,
love
we
that.
won it, which was, it was just an amazing, I think, recognition of what we had been doing in the space and how we'd been able to innovate within our industry. So yeah, it was really cool. And then last year I spoke at that event, the Cleaning Profits event.
Very cool. What I love that your background is marketing and branding and business development, because I think there's number one, when you're in that craft or that skill set, you have a specific job to obviously articulate and communicate what your brand is about. But one of the things that you touched on as soon as you introed yourself is the love for our industry. And if you're in that marketing and branding space, you get for my opinion, the privilege of communicating the beauty of our industry. And I think no one does it better than someone that has like that knack for marketing and branding. It's just like such a beauty and art to it. So I'm super excited to see like how your brain works and how that you incorporate that, because it's a really beautiful skill set. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, let's face it, there's not out in the world, like outside of our industry, there's not really a lot of people advocating for us as an industry. There is some misconceptions there that have
Oh
been,
yeah.
like they're very old thinking, very old misconceptions. So it's up
Yeah.
to us,
Right.
those of us who are out
Yes.
in this space in a bit more of a public way, like you guys are,
Yeah.
to be sharing the fact that this is actually a really innovative industry, and an industry that has a lot of career progression opportunities, a lot of marketing opportunities. But people don't
Yeah.
think that way. They look at us as a boring industry. And
Right.
I love the fact that we can challenge that and we can change the way that people think about the industry.
Yeah.
And I
I
mean,
love that.
what you're doing out here is doing just that. So it's really cool to see
Yeah.
that.
I know. I think we
Well,
all
that's
have
awesome.
an
And we're,
opportunity, a stage, right, Caden?
Yeah.
yep, 100%. Well, before we dive in, we have to do AI roasting. That's what Lisa's decided to do, which isn't a shocker to me. She's definitely got to be an AI user for someone who embraces technology. So let's take it away.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to read it because, ChatGPT was very verbose. Okay, here we go. Lisa Macqueen, the woman who took one of the world's most boring industries and somehow made it look like a lifestyle brand. Yes, she's proved that you can make cleaning feel cool, and no, she won't be stopping anytime soon. Basically, if Lisa had a personal brand tagline, it would be turning chaos into strategy and somehow making it look like it was her plan all along. She's the
Yeah.
type who walks into a room and instantly sees 12 things that could be systemized, branded, monetized, and then turned into a keynote. Her
Yeah.
idea of small talk, asking strangers what their tech stack looks like. Lisa once tried to take a break and accidentally created a 6-part growth strategy in Bali. True story. If there's a shiny new SaaS tool, she's already signed up, integrated it, and recommended it before you've even finished reading the landing page. She's the only person we know who took a traditionally boring, unsexy industry and made it look fun, sharp, pretty, and kind of aspirational.
See?
Cleaning, but
There
make
you
it
go.
brand-led. So yes, she's making the unsexy look polished, the tedious look smart, and the spreadsheet, she's probably got it color-coded, branded, and somehow inspiring.
Oh my God. That is incredible. That is not a roast.
I
That is a love letter. That feels like a love letter to me. I'm like, I love Lisa. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was really good.
You can tell by that I clearly spend too much time on AI.
I mean,
It's so
mine is the
clear.
exact same. I
Yeah.
love it.
I've just, out of the ones who have chosen to do the AI roast, I think you just taught me that I think I need to send you the prompt to give to AI.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
all of these are way too nice. What is it? The night of the Oscars level of like celebrities getting on stage and being like, "Hey, be a little mean."
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no mean in there. This is
No.
legit what came out of AI
Yeah,
when I asked it to
that's
roast
I'm
me.
telling
awesome.
you, like you have mastered AI so much that it's writing the roast should have been a roast. It's actually a love letter. That's the level of
Yeah.
your like elevation is your AI turned into your roast, turned into a love letter.
When
No
I
big
read
deal.
it, I thought, gee, this sounds nice. This sounds really nice. But I asked it to roast me,
You're like,
and
I'm
that's
gonna
what
go
it
for
came
it.
up with.
And then
Yeah.
you're almost scared to ask it again. You're like, I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like that he did a
I
good
know.
job. Or
Well,
she did a good job.
actually, Karina, I went back and I said, can you make it a bit spicy? And
Oh, you did.
know, it wasn't any spicier than that, to be honest.
Oh
So,
my gosh. So
yeah.
it really does love you a lot. I love it. All right, Caden, let's get into it.
Here's an article on AI that my team sent out this morning, and they were talking about the personalization of AI, talking about how it's kind, it's like reaffirming, and like why it is. Why do you have to call AI out to be like, hey, be more aggressive, be more like fight against me, like give me a different thing. And it said, well, in a lot of ways, it's repeating just like maybe more so human behavior in the sense that like we don't always just go out and disagree with someone and be mean in that way. And so, anyways, this is kind of an interesting article. AI's honesty is to the level of what hopefully the kosherness of most human beings are towards each other.
Yeah.
It's trying to replicate that.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a little funny. Well, we are going to dive in. Karina, take it away on events that are coming up for
Yes.
the committee and things that are happening, and then we'll dive into our topic.
All right. I'm going to go in the correct order. The next couple of events, I say that because last time when I did this, I was all over the place. And this time I'm going to do it in
I
sequential
fly
order.
in on Sunday. This is when you can meet. No,
Yeah.
I
This is the social calendar of the week. Just kidding. Okay, the Tech and Innovation Committee is hosting some really awesome sessions, starting off with our very own superstar, Caden, doing an Unlocking Tech Secrets Insights from 3 leading softwares with Tony from Smart Inspect and Matt from Orange QC. So they are putting down their weapons of battle and coming together and talking about all things quality control. So it's going to be a really, really great session. It is November the 10th. That's Monday, 1:45 to 2:45 in the North Convention, Islander A, North Convention Center. And then the next day we have the CLX. This year, CLX topics is going to be data maturity and the relationship you have. We have incredible facilitators. Do check that out. And again, CLX is a cohort learning experience. Last but certainly not least, real world examples of AI. We just talked a little bit about that, but Caden and Ryan, Sager, Vincent, and Sanjaya are doing a session on AI in action, real world tools for real time results. Caden, you're going to be everywhere, and I am here for it. Good for
I
you.
I am. I'm usually at the booth and for
Not
our
this
company.
year.
And this year I was like, guys, you're on your
See
own.
ya. Yeah. Good.
and
Good.
and we're also recording some hard refresh episodes. So
Yes.
it'll just constantly be in the educational experience and recording. I'll be all over the place this year.
You
As
really
ISSA.
will.
I did get the privilege of being nominated to the top 30 emerging
That's
leaders
right.
for ISSA.
That's right.
So
I
I
voted
also
for
have to
him.
incorporate that into our schedule. So
Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
I'm so proud of you. So well deserved. You are a bright light. And I
Thank you.
forget that you're so much younger than me, even though I feel like we're the same age. Dang it. I hate that about you.
I got asked today. So last year I told everyone I was 33 when I was really 32. And then when my birthday came around, my hairstylist told me this morning, she was like, how old are you? And I was like, let's see, what year was I born? Oh, I'm still 33. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
You're young.
a great honor to be a part of that group. I don't know how long they've been doing it. At least a few
I think
years.
this is the second or third year they've been doing it.
Okay.
So
Really,
super well
really cool
deserved.
thing, and I hope it continues to
Congrats.
grow. And for ISSA, but today's topic, we are diving into technology again on how it meets client service. So last episode, we were talking about a similar topic, and honestly, we could talk about this topic probably 100 times in a row with different individuals and glean so many insights. And I've said it often, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And so this is definitely one of those topics that's worth catching more details on again and again and again. So, Lisa, we're going to dive into this clearing the cache moment, the hard refresh of today on where technology meets client service. And so I want to start off with a similar conversation as last time on the expectation on how that's changed client experiences in commercial cleaning. You mentioned over 30 years in business. There's a lot of depth and experience there that I want to dive into on how these client expectations have evolved and changed over the years.
Great. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, guys, because this is such a juicy, meaty subject to go into. For us, I think putting the client experience together with the technology has really meant that we've been able to add so much more value to our client experience. Like back in the day, back when I joined the business and back when Hamish started it, I think the expectation level of clients was much lower. And as we've developed, as you know, our industry's developed and expectations have risen exponentially over those years. Clients of today, they're so different to the clients of say 5 years ago and that expectation. So meeting our clients of today where they are has really changed. Like they're not cool with you walking in with a a pad and a pen and doing things. They want to see their suppliers using technology. They want to know that they can get a great report, like a great monthly report from you that's accurate, that can tell them stuff like information that they can use, especially for a facility manager. So what we're seeing is there's a much greater demand today for things like monthly reports and just reporting overall than what we would have been doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. And it's become one of those things that the sales team are really, they're out there and they're talking to customers or prospects every day. And this is what they're hearing. This is what they're hearing, that they want to be able to work with a company that is as advanced as, or maybe not as advanced, depending on the company that you're talking about, obviously, but they want to know that they're working with an organization and supplier who has the capability of keeping track of everything, first and foremost.
Well,
And also, sorry, Karina,
no, I was
did you
just
want
going
to?
to add, I think to your point, like, I think it provides depth, right? Like the
Yeah,
relationship, what you're providing is more depth. It gives it more substance, more value, obviously, but you're essentially expanding past a surface level relationship into a much deeper strategic relationship with the use of data or with the use of technology is what I'm understanding.
that's right. That's right. And in the past, a lot of clients they'd be wondering, they'd wonder, when did the cleaners arrive? When did they leave? Because maybe something's happened or maybe it hasn't happened and they want to be able to check. So having the availability of this data, it just means that the
Hmm.
transparency on the service becomes so easy to provide, so seamless to provide that they don't have to second guess. And
Yeah.
certainly and probably there'll be some cleaning business owners who'll hear this and be nodding along. But when you have a new client and you bring a new client on board, sometimes there can be a bit of that buyer's remorse because the person that brought you on board, maybe they've been burned before and they hope that they've done enough due diligence, that they've chosen a firm that is going to be better than who they had in the past. But there is often that feeling of, oh, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. So by
Yeah.
using technology, and this is certainly how we use it as a way to bridge that gap between the possibility of feeling a bit of buyer's remorse and the reality of I can relax because these people have got it. They know what they're doing. In that instance, it's a really powerful tool, really powerful.
100%.
Yeah, one of the things I just thought of was, as you were speaking, Lisa, this one of the things you talked about was transparency. I would love if you had a story around how technology helped improve transparency with a client. Like what was the before and after in the relationship? Like, was there a bottom line that it did in revenue for you guys? Were you able to expand? Like any stories there you can share about this?
Yeah, definitely. One of them, we use Swept. I know you've had Michelle on the show, so I know she's a
Yeah, it was a good
friend of the
episode.
show, friend of you guys. So we use Swept. And when we first implemented Swept into the business, and this is going back a few years, by the way, I think we were the first business in Australia to put Swept into our organization. So we implemented it and we didn't have a champion behind it. So we'd be getting people to log in and do do all the things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But the more important part of having that technology was actually having the reporting being done on a daily basis. So beforehand, we would just provide those reports if a customer asked for them. And,
Mm,
you know, we had a situation where we were doing multi-site and they knew that we had the reporting and everything. And again, remember this is early days, but we weren't automatically sending out reports to them. We just thought if they need a report, they'll let us know and we can get it out to them. Well, they did need a report, but it hadn't been communicated and we hadn't asked the right questions. So it was absolutely on us. We came so dangerously close to losing that client because
mm,
because it was multi-site, there were so many stakeholders involved. So one site would love you, the other site would be ambivalent about you and everything in between. Once we kind of went to the cliff edge of losing this contract and realized the importance of being able to provide that daily, it changed everything. We retained the client. We still have that client today, by the way. We retained them and we were able to show them, oh, there was a missed clean. So we were telling them before they even noticed that something had happened or that something had been missed or something was needed. We would be able to say to them, hey, there's a plumbing issue on level 4. So it really helped to do that. But the only way that you can do that is to know that it's not enough just to have that tech. You actually have to have someone using it every day and reporting on it and communicating it back
yeah.
out into your customers.
When I think even like if you talk about the depth of the relationship, how we started there, you're talking about how it starts with accountability and transparency, which ultimately led to a proactive approach to service the
Yep.
members, right? And that I love about it because you start to get more granular, you start to get more strategic to how you serve. And that's one of the things that I always try to challenge people in terms of technology's data. If it's static, it serves no purpose. So if you have a dynamic relationship with it, meaning you're actively looking at the information and trying to see ways that you can change your strategy, serve better, communicate better, that ultimately kind of like elevates you from a user's perspective, right? Like you can
Mm.
start to see the
Yeah.
world a little bit differently. And that's kind of what I was thinking about as you were talking too. I'm like, that's awesome. That's exactly where you want to
Yeah.
be, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, having the data in there is one thing, but if you don't use it for anything, it's almost useless. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's helped us too when we've been in rebidding situations. If the customer has gone back out to tender, we've just been through this in the last month actually, and we're able to run a report. We know precisely down to the last minute how long it takes to get that site looking great. So when we're doing a
Mm.
rebid,
That's
we
cool.
know, well, okay, we think we can make a saving for the customer here. We think we can find an innovation for the customer there. So we use it to not only report on exceptions of, whatever exception happened overnight, but we also use it for that type of forward planning and rebidding strategy as well, which helps clients get, squeeze a bit more out of their budget if they need to, or it helps us show them where we can maybe pull back a little here, but add a little there. And that's
Right.
something that facilities managers, they love that because that is so granular, that information, that they often don't have that at their fingertips, but we are able to provide it to them.
I think
Wanna
that's what
Okay, so I wanted to ask a follow-up question.
Sure.
You mentioned initially starting with Swept, and then you talked about, like, when it took someone's dedication to, like, be in it every day. And I think this is such a critical piece. This is all over the AI world right now. Everyone's like, "What right tool do I use? Do I use well, I wanna go build my own connections and use AI. Do I use Replit? Do I use Lovable? Do I use Curse?" Like, it doesn't matter because what you just described is everyone's real problem, which is choosing and then just acting. Like, just go actually make it, not shelfware. And what I love about that is because what you guys did is like, it wasn't about the tool. It was about we have to get to this outcome of what we're striving to achieve. So if anyone's listening, and Lisa, you could probably even talk about your choice in switching. CRM's a big deal when you went to Salesforce. I remember you sharing that story on LinkedIn. Like these are major decisions, but decision fatigue is real. And so if like for our audience of like, oh, what technology do I use? Yeah, that matters. But more so, it's like, what's my implementation plan? And do I have someone committed to actually go and make things happen with the tool I've chosen? To me, that was just like the gold nugget. I hope everyone caught that from that is decide and then go all in. Go figure out every single button it can do and
Absolutely,
go exhaust.
absolutely. Because if you don't do that, you will be one of the people who says, I got that CRM or I got that SaaS, tech, but it didn't
Yep.
work for me. And the reason it didn't work for you is that, you can be interested in it or you can be committed to it. You have
Yep.
to be committed to it in order to bend it to your will. And I think it's a really important piece of the strategy and implementing any CRM, any tech into your business. It is part of the strategy, right? Because you're bringing it in so that it can help you maybe save time, it can improve things, whatever. But if you don't commit to being a champion of it or having a champion within the
yes.
business, I think that you are really going to be selling yourself short and you'll never achieve what you probably could achieve. It's hard, and you have to, in this world, you really do have to choose your hard, right? Like Salesforce is not easy to master. I don't think any of them are initially. And but if you have a champion there, someone working alongside you, someone who's interested enough to push the limit on it and ask the questions and do things like that, then you can really get so much benefit, so much value out of your tech stack. And it's
Well,
we've always been all in. We're like we're going into it. We're going all in on it.
well, that's what I was thinking. Like For me, we're talking about two things here. One is platform optimization and being committed to really maximizing a software. The other is having a stakeholder and ambassador. Can that person be the same thing? Absolutely. But I think that's where a lot of organizations get it wrong in terms of if you don't have someone that is your advocate or your leader or your brand ambassador of your drive to be innovative and kind of like your tech person in put it very simply, then it's very difficult to carry out the mission of technology because technology is not a siloed thing. It
Mm.
needs to be, it's a
Right.
seed. It needs to be cultivated. It needs to be watered, supported. It needs to be communicated internally and externally. So if you don't have that one person or department or something that rallies everyone together, it oftentimes falls short because no one is nurturing this thing that needs to be nurtured.
And to that point too, Karina, it's important if you're bringing a new a new CRM or something new into your tech stack, to manage the change management inside of the business
Yeah.
becomes crucial. So it's fine
100%.
for leadership to say, "Oh, we're going to bring Salesforce into the business." That's great. But you can't expect your people, if they've come from Keep, which is what we did, they've come from
Yeah.
Keep, which is a much, much, much simpler, smaller system. I couldn't possibly expect the team to just jump on it and know what to do.
Yeah.
It took us months to really change manage it into our everyday. And I think you need to understand that, yes, as a business owner, as a leader, yes, you are going to be paying for a CRM that you're not getting much value out of in the early days. If you
Yeah.
understand that and accept that, and just take that as part of the journey of adapting a new system, then it makes it a lot easier on your people. It also makes it a lot easier when you have to explain it to the CFO
Yes.
that this is how it has to be done. And certainly from our perspective at CleanCorp, we came from a highly, highly automated organization. Like, we had literally systemized everything from an internal perspective and external perspective with Keep.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything that we did had been automated, like everything. So then we had to take that and recreate that into a system like
Holy
Salesforce.
smokes.
Now, you can imagine the enormity of that. We simply couldn't do it overnight, and it took a long
Right.
time. And actually, in the process of doing that, we found that there were things that Salesforce does this really elegantly, more elegantly than what we had over here. So, there's definite upside too. But then you're managing that downside where people go, "Oh, but that other system, it was so easier. It was this or it was
Yes.
that." So you've got to
Yeah.
manage that and make it, that
Well,
kind of nagging feeling from people who are used to this system and don't really want to adapt to this system
yes.
within
Talk
your
about
within
I
your
mean, talk about emotional intelligence though, right? Like that's
mm,
something when the change
Yeah.
management that when Kate and I talk about it a lot because that's happened to me multiple times now being in the consultant space and coming in and working with organizations in terms of tech stack and, big projects. And I always say the culture piece is really critical because it's a change management and you're talking about emotions, that you're talking about people are set in their patterns, their behaviors. And when you introduce a technology or change something, people get very protective and they get very
Yep.
nervous. And so, understanding emotional intelligence in a change management or any new application is super critical. And people don't oftentimes realize how big of a deal it really is to the
oh
people when
yeah.
you change a product.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's huge. Like, we brought in last year, as part of our reporting process that I spoke about earlier. It takes a long time for us to, especially for big multi-site organizations. It takes a long time to pull together a monthly report. It's just not as simple as a few buttons and it's done, because there's a lot involved in it. Anyway, so we would get to each month. At the end of each month, it was monthly reporting time for for our customers. And I was noticing that there was a lack of energy, if I put it that way, around getting this
Right.
done. I'm putting that nicely. And I was like, "Oh God, it's monthly report time." Um,
Yeah.
so um, so because we love tech, I love tech. So we started thinking, okay, what can we do? What can we implement around that will elevate what our output is and what we can offer our customers, but more importantly, in this instance, what we could offer our internal customers, our employees. in terms of not having to do as much work to get these
Mm,
reports out. So
yeah.
we developed a bot to put to go into our different software and pull out
That's
the
so
information.
cool.
I know, it's so cool.
You
It's
are
so cool.
light years ahead. Holy smokes, that's awesome. I love
So
it.
the bot has its own logins for each of the softwares that it needs, and then it goes in, it pulls what it needs from each of the stuff from Salesforce, from Swept, from Xero, pulls it all in together, and then puts it together into our PowerPoint presentation. And then that gets sent over to the national operations manager and the customer service manager who's responsible for that customer. They check it and verify the bot didn't get anything wrong. And then it's done. And off it goes. It has saved days of work for the teams. There's things like that if you're scared to try it, then you'll be stuck doing it the old way, the
Right.
slow way.
Yes.
The huge payoff here was, look, of course it was the speed of, just being faster and being able to get it out faster. But the big payoff was my team, who had been responsible for putting these reports together, could now actually spend time doing things in their roles that they wanted to do,
Right.
rather than this labor intensive job that they had been doing. So it was
For
a
sure.
huge win. It was a huge win.
Well, the coolest part about that, and this is like the subtle message, I'm going to pull this out for all of our listeners. Guys, Lisa was doing it manually before. So many people just want to go straight to the automation and magically it appears. You got to put the work in before to be like, hey, we understand this process very clearly. Then it was so much easier to be like, we can't keep doing it in this manual way before. But now it was much clearer for you guys to be like, hey, you know what? This is how we can automate. We're going to go build a bot that can go in each of these systems. But you did the work. So many people are afraid to do the work because of the time and energy it takes. But once you do it, clarity comes into the picture that says, hey, now that we've got this down manually, I'm thinking I'm seeing a way to automate this. And obviously, you guys are master crafters at creating that. That's really cool.
I know. I was going to say, I think you need to teach a masterclass on this, Lisa, because I'm I'm so interested now in this bot situation. And I'm like, and so when we're manifesting the podcast for Lisa, she told us she's going to do a podcast. So I'm very, very intrigued for your first podcast, because I think that there's a lot for you, Lisa, to talk about. I want to shadow you for a day and get all the behind scenes bot automation. Can you even imagine where they're at right now, Caden? Like that. When did you guys go through the bot? When was
last
this?
year, in October last year.
Yeah. Okay. Because I can't even imagine what you guys have going on right now.
Like awesome. It's so
light
awesome.
years away.
Here's the thing. People who know me well, they've heard me say, "Oh, I'm terrible at maths." Okay, I'm terrible at math. I don't know. I'm awful with numbers. I'm terrible at maths. I can't do it. I hear, because I'm on LinkedIn a lot. Obviously, I hear from a lot of cleaning business owners over there, and people will send me messages saying, "What should I do? How should I do this? I'm not any good at tech." I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm no good at tech, and I'm no good at maths, but I can still run a company. The thing is, you can get good at things, right? You can get good at things. And if you keep telling you things, I'm no good at tech, well, guess what? You'll never never get over that bridge, right? So I think that a lot of people need to put that self-limiting belief away and just be a little bit kind and say, okay, well, I don't know everything I need to know yet about it, but if I just start, I'm gonna know more next week than what I do this week.
Yep.
And that's how you build and grow. So all those years ago, when we started with the Keep CRM system, I had no idea what I was doing, zero. And so everybody has to start from everyone has to start from zero. That's just how this works. So if you're listening and you're thinking about it, just get out there and try it.
I love that. And starting from zero means you don't go from 10 as the next number. One. One's the next number, everyone. I'm not good at math either, but I know one is after zero. So, the idea that you're using multiple softwares to run your business, and then you say, hey, we're manually pulling things from different software because we have a client experience that we're trying to level up this expectation. We were doing it manually. Now you're coming in. Like, how long has it been on this revolution of the chatbot? How long did it take to implement and pull that and pull the pieces together for you
It
guys?
took us about 6 months because it was built
Yeah.
specifically for us. It's not something out of a box, right? So it was
Yeah.
built and developed precisely to what we needed. And
Yep.
I think there were 3 iterations. The first one was, yeah, it didn't work. And so, I mean, like, that's the thing. You also have to invest. It's not cheap
Yep.
to do stuff like this, but it isn't. But the thing is that the payoff, we're going to have the payoff for years to come. So
Yep.
it was definitely worth the investment. But yeah, it took about 6 months to get it right. And then, every now and again there's a little bit of tweaking that goes on. And if we have a new customer come in, perhaps they need us to report on something that we're not reporting on now, then we
Right.
would need to do a little tweak there to make sure we bring that extra data in. But it's, like, it's something that I think that this is how the world is moving ahead. When we put the bot, when I put the idea of the bot to the team, I didn't have any pushback from the team, from people thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to lose my job. Because again, the
Right.
change management that goes into adapting anything within the business is, okay, let me answer all your questions. Let me give you the reason. Like, you can't see it here, but over there is a huge whiteboard with our strategic plan ideas. And about 2 years ago, that bot was sitting on that very same board over there. So these ideas don't just happen like that. There's a plan, there's a change management, and then there's a process to getting it happening.
Those were the gold nuggets.
There was a
All 3 of
lot.
those, I hope.
There was
Yeah, I mean, this is like one where someone has to go back to this
Yeah.
masterclass of what
Yeah.
Lisa's teaching here. It's one step at a time. And if there's one thing, because we got to wrap up, but if there's one thing that I would hope people just heard, is that the long-term payoff is worth it in an industry that is so reactive to
Yeah.
our customers' needs. And you've got to, it's not going to magically happen. You have to carve out time to make these investments,
Yes.
regardless of what you're using, regardless of the technology, whether you're building from scratch, because the long-term payoff, you get to, look at Lisa and be like, gosh, I wish I could just accomplish what she put in the work.
Well,
She
exactly.
put in the
And
work.
that's what I was going to say too. Like, an idea is just an idea, but you have to be able to execute. And that's like, as Lisa, as you're talking, I'm like, man, I bet she can execute better than most of us, because it's very hard. And
Yeah.
everybody has great ideas, but you have to be able to take it from its idea origin, conceptualize it, then execute it and maintain it. And that's very, very difficult to do unless you're disciplined. And discipline and consistency is a major variable when you're talking about these things, because it has to be systematic in your own way. Like, we're all different in the way we're wired, but you have to have a plan and you have to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also, I mean, there is the element of being able to say, yeah, we did it. We started something and we finished it. Having unfinished business, whether that's with your tech stack or anything else, it doesn't sit right with me. I like to make sure that we get to where we need to go. And we have, we're meeting all the time, especially as we're going through that implementation process. It is a fully planned out rollout, no matter what aspect of it you're talking about. We're not just flying by the seat of our pants. We're planning for it. We're planning with each other to make sure it gets there. And then we
Love
celebrate
it.
it, guys. And by the way, I'm sitting
That's
here
key.
looking over here. There is glitter and like sparkles all over the floor, because we actually do celebrate. So we just finished a big tender.
Oh
And
my
so we
gosh.
celebrated it. But when we get a plan in place, like the tech plan or the bot or whatever, we celebrate when we hit that goal. It's a little pat on the back for all of us that we got there.
That's
I love it. You
awesome.
have to celebrate those milestones in progression, because if you don't stop, then they're just going to get old, and all of a sudden that isn't recognized. But everyone, that was an incredible discussion.
Yeah.
You have been
Nailed
a
it.
business masterclass here. So
Yeah.
Lisa, thank you so much for the time and the energy in preparing for today's episode to share your insights. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Hard Refresh. Thanks everyone for joining. And the last plug I will say, Lisa is a huge, consistent advocate for the cleaning industry on social media. Worth a follow. Free advice, content constantly being poured out.
Yeah.
Her whole heart and soul is out there on LinkedIn. So go give her a follow on LinkedIn. You'll be greatly rewarded by the content she produces. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, guys.